Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the live stream of episode 12 of the Psychotic and Iconic Sports Podcast. I know it sounds a little bit different this time. We don't have our guy Pauls with us. He's actually in OBX with his family, so enjoy the time with your family, bro. We miss you here at PNI. We're ready to get this show rocking. We got a lot of fantasy football content heading your way this show, so let's take it off. Mikey P.
That was perfect, Nick. Even though that caught me off guard a little bit, we're definitely going to miss Pauls, and I'm going to miss shit-talking him, Mr. Lonzo Pauls over there. I don't even know what my name is this week.
Well, no.
What am I going by
in
this
week?
week?
Show, we're going to throw little jabs at him in a little bit, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just so he's prepared.
Because I still have all of his picks and his fantasy lists, so we're going to get his information out there still.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what this one is. With his shot out ass, you know what I mean? Like,
I just wanted to know what my name was this week. It's been different every week.
No,
Maybe I should actually go by my real name, Mikey P. I don't know.
It's so weird without him, though. I miss him across the table. We miss you, bro. Enjoy your time with your family, though.
Definitely
for
strange.
Sure.
But fans, as usual, welcome back. Number one, thank you for tuning in. Number two, and number three, definitely give us your comments. Ask us any questions. We will try to get as many as we can. Otherwise, let's get right into it. Phil, you know what to do by now, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, this is how we're going to start the show, right?
That's my boy, Phil.
Let's go, baby.
That's
Let's rock
my
it
boy.
out. Oh, yeah, we ready, man. Let's go.
Today's subject, it may not be the most interesting, but it is important.
It's super important.
Okay?
Don't sleep on this.
It gets overlooked a little bit. Okay? Top 10 defenses to start the day. Defenses and special teams. Let me give credit to the special team guys. And then we're going to go into top 10 kickers. And it won't be as long as the other fantasy lists, but nonetheless, still important.
Quick.
Because sometimes these teams can win you a week. There's kickers out there like Younghoe Koo was kicking 6 field goals a game. And
Younghoe Koo is fucking, it's Young-Ho.
Young-Ho.
He has the best name. Young-Ho Koo. That's fire as shit.
Yeah, but he legitimately won some people 2-3 weeks last year. So this shit matters, guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of mad at my parents for not naming me Young-Ho. You know what I mean? Like
Young-Ho Pasillo. Oh my god.
It flows perfectly.
So how about this? I will pass it. Actually, you know what? I'll do Mike's list first, and then I'll pass it to you, Nick.
All right, that sounds good.
So that no one has to hear my voice for too long. I mean, I'm trying to spare the audience a little bit. One sec, let me bring it up. All right. Top 10 defenses. This is Paul's top 10, all right? Number 1. Actually, let's go 10 to 1. Excuse me. Number 10, the Saints. Number 9, the Colts. 8, Bills. 7, Niners. 6, Rams. 5, Dolphins. 4, Steelers. 3, Patriots. Wow. 2, Bucks. They're not number 1. Number 1, Ravens.
Wow.
They're always in the top 5. So
I'm going to tell you right now, I wish he was here.
Oh, when he said this to me, I was like, hold up. The Bucks are number 1? Weren't we just talking about this? Didn't we just spend not half our show, but legitimately 15 minutes of our show was me going back at you about the Bucks defense being godly? Did he miss that part of the show?
I think he did. He was sleeping over there. Well,
Good
he was lounging, so I guess he missed part of that show. So, yeah, I don't know.
What am I about to do?
Yeah, face palm. The infamous face palm right there.
He knows this by now. This is going to be one of our episode pictures for sure. At some point. But that's Paul's list.
Okay.
God bless him.
Yeah. I'm shocked, honestly.
But
I was shocked.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Nick, you take it away now.
Yeah, so I'll start with number 10, going to 1. I have the Buffalo Bills at number 10. Number 9, I have the Cleveland Browns. Number 8, I have the New England Patriots. Number 7, I'm with Pauls on this one. I got the Niners at 7. I got 6 is the Colts. 5, the Baltimore Ravens. 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know you're shocked of. I know.
You too?
Listen, man. Look, I
go ahead. I'll let you.
3, the LA Rams at number 3. 2, Pittsburgh Steelers, and number 1, the Washington football team. They are the best defense in the game. I believe in them.
That was also part of our argument, actually,
I believe in them.
because, I mean, they were the closest team to beating. I almost said Patriots for a second.
Yeah, I
Holy
know,
shit.
right? It's crazy.
They were close.
I know, like when you think of Brady, you think of the Patriots, but like
They were
yeah.
the closest team, though. And
I
that
know.
was part of our argument. I mean, that front seven.
No, I love their
Oh,
defense,
God.
and that was my argument too last week. Saying, like he beat that defense. I think he was going to beat him regardless of quarterback, but whatever. That's another argument for another day.
For everyone that missed that, though, go back. I mean, the last show was awesome. I encourage you to watch the whole thing. You don't want to miss any fantasy advice or the division picks. We talked about the most stacked division in the league. That was the NFC West. By the way, quick thing, because I might have had a brain fart last show. I was sitting here saying Cardinals aren't making the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And I went through it again. I went through all my projections and everything, and I realized, oh, wait a second. There's another wild card. There's 3 of them. So I want to correct myself.
So wait, you're saying all the teams in the West are going to make the playoffs?
I am.
That's
And,
ballsy, bro.
I know, because they're going to kick the shit out of each other. But I wanted to correct that before we get too far in, the rest of the shows before the season. And I'm sure we're going to cover this. We're going to cover like the overall playoff picture in our last show
Yeah, we'll do a
before the
prediction.
season starts. But I just want to point that out. That's going to be one of my bold predictions. That
Okay.
every team in the NFC West makes the playoffs. All right.
Oh, that's pretty bold, bro.
I know.
That's never happened, obviously, because this is like the new
Yeah.
rule just kicked in. So
Exactly.
that'd be crazy.
So that's going to be one of my bold predictions. But anyway,
All right, so
Back-
who's your top 10,
back to
Mike?
the defenses. And to your credit, Nick, Washington football team's defense is nasty. You can definitely justify them being there. Let me start with my number 10, though. And this is going to be a surprise. Number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles.
You're such a homer. You're
You
such a
had
homer.
to say it for
I
Mike.
have to. I miss him across the table right now.
Number 9, the Dolphins, who honestly I almost removed from there earlier today. Number 8, the Colts. Number 7, the Bills. Number 6, Washington football team. Number 5, the Rams. Number 4, the 49ers. Number 3, the Steelers. Number 2, the Ravens. Number 1, the Bucks. I can't believe I'm the only one who has them there. I thought for sure if I was a betting man, I was going to bet that you would have them at 1.
Well,
I swear.
Here's my reasoning.
Tell me why.
I feel like they're going to be like I feel like the Bucks are going to blow a lot of teams out. So I think a lot of garbage time points are going to go against their defense. So I think that hurts their fantasy value, in my opinion. Whereas Washington's going to be in a lot of close games. And they actually just, they signed William Jackson III in the offseason, pairing with Kendall Fuller. They got very nice corner on that team. Along with the front 7,
I know.
they're going to be lethal.
They could lead the league in sacks.
Exactly.
But this
a
is
lot of
another, like,
turnovers.
I'll
I
throw
just believe in them.
Oh, there's Paul's. He's
I'm here. I love my
He's
team.
here. Wow.
Is it me or is the room cloudy? What are you guys smoking? Sour.
But I'll tell you this right now. The reason why I got the Eagles at 10 is the same reason you might have. I mean, you got to pay attention to sacks. The Eagles could possibly lead the NFL in sacks. That's the first reason why I have them at 10. And also, I expect that under Jonathan Gannon, they're going to force a lot more turnovers than the last few years under Jim Schwartz, where I didn't love the play calling, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and dump on Jim Schwartz all show. I don't feel like doing that. He did win a Super Bowl for us. Thank you very much, but I was ready to move on.
Foles did, but,
you know. Exactly, right? I mean, he gave up one less touchdown than the other team. Okay. Great job, Jim. But no, I actually think this defense is going to be very aggressive, and I love the Steven Nelson signing, which essentially cured the secondary issues, in my opinion. Makes me feel a lot better about that. So that's why I have them 10th, because I think they could finish number 1 in sacks. Bucks, though. Bucks and Washington. So I actually am going to use the same logic as you. The reason why I have the Bucks at 1, well, they were the number 2 fantasy defense for about half the season last year, and then they went on a cold streak up until almost playoff time. And that's when they
finished 9th.
Yeah, so that's when they heated up. I mean, also schedule was a little something there, but they really hit their stride, obviously, in the playoffs, where we saw them just lock everybody down. Lock all windows and doors. They said, Aaron Rodgers, you ain't throwing on us. Drew Brees, noodle arm. Okay? Retirement. We're going to send you to retirement, brother.
Yeah.
Okay? Patrick Mahomes, no, you're not going to get any throws off tonight. Todd Bowles said, my unit's not giving up shit. They gave up the most to Taylor Heineke of all people.
I know. Which is actually crazy, though.
They just locked everyone up.
But that just shows you how good the Washington football team really is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a credit to them as well.
They're so close.
I know.
I fear what will happen if they get a quarterback.
I can't wait to break down the NFC East.
Me too.
One day, so.
But my point, though, I was going to say this. Because the Bucs will be blowing teams out, that allows the defense to do things that you can't do all game in a tight game. For instance, just send the fucking house. Hey, we're kicking your ass. I'll send the house a little bit more. I'm going to make it worse for you. You just change the defensive game planning and calling when you have leads. You can do a lot more. You can play a lot more aggressive, you know? So I think that they're going to come out of the gates with all their starters returning, and I think that they're just going to dominate. I expect the offense to be right there too. So, like, to me, it's just like picking up where you left off.
And Todd Bowles, he thrives with the blitz too. Exotic blitzes, he's very good.
And not to mention, like, I have to point out that their division's a little bit weaker. So there's 6 games right there where I think that they could just maul people. Like, that's why I have them there. And in Washington, the reason why I have them at 6, obviously,
I was shocked.
Like, they're really good.
Yeah.
And part of this, like, you can attribute some of this rankings to however your league is scored. I tried to just go standard here, but some leagues reward touchdowns more than others. Some reward points against or yards against more than others. In this circumstance, I think that Washington, because of the offense, which should be a lot better, by the way, like, they should be a very competitive team. I think that they're going to be in a lot of close games, and that is kind of my logic there, where they might not be able to do everything that they want to do on the defensive side of the ball. But they have so much talent that they have to be ranked that high. They have so much talent, they might have the best front 7 in the league.
I think they do.
They might have the best defensive line in the league.
Yeah.
Chase Young could win Defensive Player of the Year. That's how good he is. So I won't be surprised in the slightest. Like, honestly, you could have flip-flopped a number of the teams in the top 5. I'll just point out a couple right now. The Ravens and Steelers have been in the top 5 for the last few years. The Ravens always have great special teams, low-key. The Steelers seem to find the end zone, and they always lead the league in sacks. I think it's 2 or 3 years in a row they led the league in sacks.
With T.J. Watt.
Yeah, I mean, like, each of these teams have lost some players, but the one thing about the Steelers, who they were so dominant on the defensive end, don't forget they have Devin Bush coming back, who literally might be, I mean, probably the least talked about star linebacker in the game because he was hurt.
Yeah.
He's literally a star, and he's going to get talked about a lot this year. So the Steelers, right then and there, they could easily finish number 1.
They were second last year.
Yeah, they were
Total
second
points,
pretty
finished
much the
points.
entire year.
Yeah.
The Rams finished first, so the Rams lost some pieces too, but they also lost Brandon Staley, and that's kind of the reason why I have them targeted for a slight drop-off. I don't want to be too disrespectful and knock them all the way off the list, because when you have the best defensive player in the game and you have the best cornerback in the game, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey respectively, you got to give your respect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And you know, I'm shocked that Pollard had New England at 3.
Me too.
But, like, when I think about it, I mean, they really loaded up this year. You know, I mean, they added Matthew Judon. He looks like he's going to be a star in New England. They have Gilmore and J.C. Jackson. They didn't really lose much on the opposite side. They actually gained Kyle Van Noy back. He was awesome for the Patriots. He's the reason why he got paid in Miami.
Yeah.
So
they were able to bring him back.
He's a system guy, and I can see the Patriots actually possibly cracking, you know, the top 5 if those players are still what they are, you know, obviously from a couple years ago. But that is a defense I'm intrigued by this year too.
I am too. I think that I just wanted to see it first to believe it. Like, also, Dante Hightower's coming back.
Yeah.
This is one of the best players in the league.
Right.
I mean, they had the most COVID opt-outs in the NFL. So I expect that they should be a lot better. And I think that all 3 of us, I mean, we're going to touch on the Patriots a little later, but I think that we expect them to be a much more competitive team. So Yeah, I think that they should definitely be better there. And they still, I mean, look, so here they had 18 interceptions last year. They had 4 defensive touchdowns, which is second, and they were 7th in points allowed. So, like, they were still a good defense. They were just not a good fantasy unit. They were still a good defense. And that's without all the players we just named.
Yeah.
But the Rams, though, like, I mean, they lost. So they lose Brandon Staley, who was obviously a very good defensive mind. You lose Michael Brockers. You lose John Johnson. You lose Troy Hill. These are guys that led their team in snaps. Like, these are big cogs in their defense. And they may not be known, but
They're starters.
yeah, I mean, so that to me, yeah, like you have to account for those kind of losses. The back end is, I mean, I don't want to say shaky because you still got Ramsey back there, but I mean, you gotta pay attention to it.
And also, they're going to have a tough schedule in that division, too. They're going to be playing the Niners, who are going to be much improved this year. They're going to be playing the Seahawks and the Cardinals. I mean, they're all high-powered offenses. So you got to think about that, too, when you're drafting defenses. Always look at the schedule. I mean, that's always what I do. I go to strength of schedule, and I just look down the line. You know, what quarterbacks are they going to be playing? Are they playing the most top 10 quarterbacks in the league? And if they're not, and you believe in that defense, I would snag him in the draft.
I mean, I'll be honest here. The way that I approach defense is if you don't get an elite unit, like a unit that you know will be in the top 5, I would wait till the second to last round of the draft unless, like, there's one that's so glaring that's available the third to last round. Like, if the Bucs were there in the third to last round or the Steelers were there, okay, I'd consider it depending on who's on the board. But generally speaking, though, you're not going to carry 2 of them, so you're likely going to drop them during their bye week. And they are kind of interchangeable. Like, I mean, if you're in a 10-team league, likely you're going to be able to get a pretty damn good streamer. So I'm like, okay if you want to stream all season too, but you got to definitely pay attention to the matchups.
Okay, so you interchange your defenses when you
really
play fantasy?
depends. Like, even I had the Bucks when they were number 2. I drafted them in all my leagues last year. I had them in every single league, and I even dropped them because I noticed the writing on the wall. They were falling apart a little bit, and they had their bye coming up. So, like, what I did in advance was I had an injury or something. I put said player on the IR, and I scooped up a defense that was going to be used a week or 2 later, and then I dropped the Bucks when that player came back. And I mean, that's the way you can approach it with defenses and kickers too. Kickers, like, you know, unless you got the number 1 or 2 guy who are literally, like, if they're leading the NFL in fantasy points by a wide margin, you may consider keeping them.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, if I have a top 5 defense, I'm going to leave a roster spot for a guy that's expendable. So when my bye week comes up, I could scoop up a defense and keep my top 5 defense. Just so, you know, for me, it's hard to come by, man. They can win you and lose you a game.
I mean, because depending on your scoring settings, really, like, there are some defenses out there that win you weeks. If the Steelers are putting up 25 points in a game just randomly one week, like, you want to have them on your team.
Speaking of,
you don't want your competition getting them either.
Yeah, so, no. Well, speaking of, 2 years ago, New England was like the best option. They were getting 30 points a week.
They were literally
easy.
putting up quarterback production
it
for
was
half a season.
Insane. So like, you can't drop something like that. That's why I would keep somebody on my roster who's expendable, you know, just in case a bye week comes up, because you don't want to drop them. Somebody's going to scoop them up and hold them.
And always, these are things where, like, it all depends on what's on your roster and how many bench spots you have. And these are things that you want to ask us all season long. Like, if you ask us these questions during the season, you give us a little breakdown of your team and your league, it's a lot easier to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But, to touch on another team, I think that the Bills came on late last year, right? The Bills were expected to take a leap, and they were kind of like middle of the pack for a while, and then they really heated it up during fantasy playoffs. They won some teams some games, so you would expect them to be better this year, I think, right?
They finished 8th last year. I still have them top 10.
I got them 7.
You got them 7? Yeah, so top 10 I think is still pretty good.
Like, I wonder if they're going to get enough sacks to be there.
Yeah.
They kind of have, like, they have a mix of veterans and young guys in their core. So, I don't know, like, relying on, like, Jerry Hughes, to me, like,
And AJ Epinoza or something like that. Is that what
They got a
his
bunch of
name
no
is? He
names
was
on
like a
there.
rookie last year or 2 years ago. I know they're expecting big things out of him. So, I mean, it depends on the the edge rushers' production this
But
year.
the Bills had 3 consecutive top 9 finishes, so like you do have to pay attention to that. They probably should be. I mean, you definitely have to draft him. They have Ed Oliver too, who's one of the low key
Yeah.
best defensive tackles in the league. You got Tre'Davious White, who's a shutdown corner. You got Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They're both pretty good. Jordan Poyer, former Eagles
I
6th
know.
round pick, who was ass and really turned it around.
Yeah, I was there. I was with the Eagles when he was there.
Yeah, me too.
So he's been in the league for a
I
minute.
think that's when you and I crossed over at
Yeah,
the Eagles.
yeah.
I mean, that's just saying something like.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into that. We'll let Mike do the talking with the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, the 49ers. So we all seemingly have them bumped up. I think this is just a matter of health, right? You got Nick Bosa coming back, probably D Ford. I mean, and then you got guys like, I mean, you lost Robert Saleh. You got to point that out. But you got Kinlaw, who was a draft pick. You got Fred Warner there already. They might have one of the best linebacking cores in the league. You got Eric Armstead, who should have a rebound year with the attention off of him a little
Yeah,
bit. I
I
mean,
agree
Nick
with you.
Bosa could lead the league in sacks.
He could.
He's that good.
He could. He's a beast.
So, I mean, I would imagine they're definitely a lock for top 6, top 5. I mean, I had him 4.
I have him 7. Again, I think it comes down to division they're in.
Like, and the other thing is, you can never predict defensive touchdowns,
Yeah.
special teams touchdowns. I feel comfortable with teams like the Ravens there because John Harbaugh is a special teams guy and always has a nice special teams unit. I mean, the Bucks. That's another reason why they might not finish number 1. Their special teams have been ass for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah. I think
know?
they're missing a kick returner. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are.
Yeah.
A lot of teams.
They're hard to
are.
come by.
And the Colts lost a couple pieces this year too.
You can't always find a Jeremy Bloom. You know what I mean?
Jeremy Bloom. Oh my God, what? If you don't have a professional skier on your roster or an Olympic medalist on
You're
your
fucked.
roster, you're done.
Yeah.
If you don't have Reno Mahe returning punts, you're definitely fucked.
You're fucking screwed.
I give him a call right now.
Just bend over and take it.
He can get you 2 yards. Jesus Christ. Wow. Reno Mahe and Jeremy Bloom. Wow.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
The Colts, though. So I just want to touch on them real quick because they were arguably the best defense in the NFL last year at multiple points this season. And they were like a bunch of no-names to most people. I mean, you should know who DeForest Buckner is.
Beast.
He is an absolute monster.
Don't sleep on him. He was
No.
a monster in San Fran, and he was well worth the trade for them.
Darius Leonard was a little banged up, and we just talked about that. He might be the best linebacker in the NFL.
Arguably.
I mean, he's right up there.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, they lost Justin Houston. That's a pass rusher. You lose Malik Hooker. Great name. But let's see here. So they finished no lower than 12th in INTs, forced fumbles, sacks, yardage allowed, and points allowed since 2013. So like they're pretty solid across the board usually. But last year they really ascended to the top of the ranks. So we'll see. I mean, that was a breakout unit. And they lost their defensive coordinator to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So
They're just an interesting team overall.
They are.
Because like
Can't wait
they
to
have
talk
a
about
Super
them.
Bowl roster, but it really depends on the quarterback's health.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, we're talking about them later in the week.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And just so everybody knows, I mean, I'll just save it to the end of the show. It was one like because then it's out of order, and I gotta fuck with that shit after the show. I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll hold that thought about the quarterback. I noticed that you had the Browns in your top 10, right, Nick?
I have him 9th.
They were 9th, and it looks like Mike did not have them.
I'm surprised. I mean, I think the addition of Jadeveon Clowney along with Myles Garrett, like that's going to cause havoc.
Yo, they brought in John Johnson from the Rams.
Yeah.
They got Tack McKinley, Malik Jackson, who I know he was buried on the depth chart with the Eagles, but he was also hurt. He's going to be, I think, their second defensive tackle. You drafted Greg Newsome from Northwestern. Shout out Northwestern. I wanted him so badly
Yeah.
on the Eagles. Shut down corner. Okay.
It's funny though, because I feel like a lot of these teams are following the model of having two legit pass rushers on each end.
And they might have two shutdown corners because Denzel Ward,
Yeah,
I mean, he's been nicked up.
Former
He
first
could
round
be-
pick.
He could be a top 5 corner if he actually plays the whole season.
Yeah,
He's really that good.
yeah, he's talented as hell.
So they got the pieces, they got the talent. That roster's all talent. But they just haven't done it for us yet. Like, I mean, they haven't finished higher than 15th in fantasy points as a unit since 2001. So I think maybe that's my reasoning for not wanting to take a shot. And if I was going to take the Dolphins out of the top 10, I probably would have bumped the Browns in just because the talent is off the charts.
Yeah, I feel like the Dolphins lost some pieces though.
They did.
Like I feel like that's going to hurt them. The departure of Van Noy. They lost some other pieces as well on that front seven too. So like I feel like that's going to hurt their ability to crack the top 10 for me.
Because they
Have the corners. The corners are great. Don't get me
look,
wrong.
so they were tied with the Patriots for most interceptions in the NFL last year with 18. And that's with Byron Jones actually struggled mightily in his first year with the Dolphins. I mean, that was a major free agent signing. Xavier Howard's a stud.
Oh yeah, he's worth every
And
penny.
he's happy now, I assume.
Yeah.
They had 28 turnovers, too. That led the NFL. They were a nasty defense, but I think that the reason why I moved them down is because I think that they're going to be a team where their defense is going to be on the field a lot more this year
Right.
because of Tua. I mean, other than that, they have the talent, too. They really do. And they have Jakeem Grant returning kicks. That's a special teams guy that you want to pay attention to. He always has at least one return touchdown a year. I think he's had 4 of the past 5 years. He's had a return touchdown. They did bring in their first rounder, Jalen Phillips, and they brought in Bernard McKinney, who's one of the better off-ball linebackers in the league.
From Houston.
Yeah, so, I mean, they lost Van Noy. They replaced a number of guys, but yeah, we'll see. It's kind of like one of those
It's
things
tricky.
where it's a gut feel sometimes,
Yeah.
too. It's just like the Dolphins just don't do it for me.
I feel like defenses are just a crapshoot.
It
You know what
really
I
is.
mean?
Like, once
that's
you
really
get
what-
past the elite units,
Yeah, exactly.
anything can happen. Like I said, streaming is totally fine.
I agree with you there.
I see one other thing that Mike had that we didn't have, besides the Patriots. He has the Saints there, who I think we can all acknowledge they absolutely have the defensive talent. Like, that's the best part of their roster right now.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with
Right?
that. Yeah.
So this is another thing, right, where we expect the Saints to just kind of, I don't want to say nosedive, but none of us really think that they're going to be playoff teams. We're going to be covering that division later in the week, but I don't know.
I feel like they're
Weird
gonna.
feeling,
I feel like
right?
their defense is going to be on the field a lot, and I think they're
Same
going to be
reason,
gassed, and
yeah.
I think they're just going to give up a lot of points and a lot of yards, and I think it's going to be like that all season because
And they-
I'm not a big believer in their quarterback situation right now.
Neither am
So
I. Oh, God.
I could see that defense being gassed early, and it's going to trickle down for the rest of the season. So that's why I didn't have them in my top 10. But they are talented. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cam Jordan, who, again, this is another guy who you could argue is the best in the league.
Oh, he's a pro.
Right up there. He's just
No cap.
ridiculous. And they also were tied for the lead in interceptions with 18. So, I mean, this is another team. They finished top 10 in 3 of the last 4 years. So you have to kind of give them their due there. But, I mean, man, I don't know. That's
Yeah, we'll
that's a
see.
tough one. They lost Sheldon Rankins. That's a low key
Yeah.
big loss on the interior line. Lattimore has been up and down.
He's only good against Mike Evans.
He should be elite,
Yeah.
like in every game. But
I
he just,
know.
I don't know. He's so inconsistent for me.
It's only when he plays Mike Evans is when he's a shutdown corner.
And I mean, they're 3 like most important defensive players. You would argue Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, and you could even argue Malcolm Jenkins just from an importance standpoint. They're all each 32 years old, so
Yeah.
I mean, Malcolm Jenkins can only do this for so much longer. I mean, I definitely still think the Eagles made a major mistake not bringing him back. Not just because of his obvious talent, but for the locker room, too, you know? But
No, I
at some
agree.
point, these guys are going to fall off a cliff. It's just a matter of when. I don't think Davis and Cam Jordan are doing that anytime soon. But Malcolm Jenkins, you know, he's getting up there.
Yeah, he is.
He's played a lot of football.
Let's ask the audience, who do you guys think is the best defensive fantasy football team this year? We are intrigued to hear your best defense this year. I have a Washington football team. Mike had the Bucks.
Yep.
And Polidor had who?
He had the Ravens.
The Ravens. So we're all different.
You could justify it.
So we're all different. So I want to hear from you guys and see what you guys think. We're very curious.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like I see Papa Pasillo has his number one defense is still the Rams. I mean, you can't really blame him. Ryan Dietz going back-to-back with defenses in the 5th, 6th rounds. Andrew John comments, this is so true. Dietz takes 3 defenses every year in the draft.
3 defenses?
Yeah, he's fucking wild, bro. I should ask Dietz who the best defense is. You know, Dietz is going to take the best defense, so I know I'm not going to have the Bucks anyway. I mean, they were a sleeper pick for me last year.
You're a Raider. That's funny as shit. What we got next on the docket? We got top 10 kickers.
Yeah,
Let's roll it.
We're not going to spend a lot of time on the kickers. We'll just put that out there.
Nah, let's just do a quick rundown on them.
I mean, the obvious ones, like, let's just talk strategy for a second. It's the same thing as defenses. If you got a top 5 guy who is head and shoulders above the rest and you want to hold him all year, go for it. But I am of the same ilk where I go, okay, I'm like one where I had the number 2 kicker at a number of periods last year. I had a number 2 or a top 5. You could play that on the waiver wire even. I don't like to waste a waiver on that, but I have done it later in the season when I don't have any other needs. This is a position where you could go plug and play and be totally fine because you never know. Like, there's always 3-4 guys that come out of the woodworks and lead the NFL. Like Jason Sanders, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
he was awesome last year.
I mean, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they were, I mean, he had 8 50-yard kicks last year. You know what? Let's just go through the rankings real quick. I'll do Paul's first here. Paul's.
yeah, big Paul's fam. I know
He would have
he's
said
listening.
that. So
He's probably like, whoa, all the way from OBX.
I'll do him first. All the way in OBX. Great show, by the way. Oh, man. Did you
This is
finish
great.
that up yet, OBX? Outer Banks?
It's fire.
Oh,
It's
man.
fire. I told Pauls to say hi to JJ for me. That's my guy. That's my favorite character.
John B.
John B's cool, but JJ's just fucking. He don't give a fuck. I
JJ's
love
like
him. He's a real friend.
JJ's psychotic and iconic.
That's right. Shout out to JJ.
But anyway, here's Paul's list. He's got Matt Prater, who's now a Cardinal, by the way. Okay. He has Jason Sanders, 9. Robbie Gould, 8. Chris Boswell, 7. Mason Crosby, 6. Ryan Suckup, 5. Will Lutz, 4. I'm not sure if he realizes he's hurt right now. He's not going to be back for a little
Who,
bit.
Will Lutz?
Yeah.
Pauls is always sleepy.
He's going to miss some time, but he should be back.
Sleepy Pauls.
For now, I think it's Brett Maher, the Cowboys failure, who was once good. Maher. Younghoe Koo at 3. Harrison Butker at 2. And Justin Tucker at number 1.
Okay.
All right. Nick, your turn.
I'm going to go. All right, 10-1. I got Robbie Gould at 10. Veteran right there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Jason Myers. 8, Matt Prater. 7, Greg the Leg Zerline. 6, Ryan Suckup. 5, Jason Saunders. 4, Tyler Bass. 3, Young Ho Koo. Young Ho.
It really is pronounced Younghoe, by the way.
Young
I know
Wei?
it sounds better.
I like Young Ho. I'm going Young Ho.
Yeah.
It's Young Ho to me. I don't give a fuck.
It's gung ho with me, Young Ho.
Yeah.
All right. That was cheesy as fuck.
2,
Sorry.
Harrison Butker, and 1, Justin Tucker. I think we're all pretty, the same with that one. So
I'll tell you when we get there. But
I'm excited.
number 10, Jason Myers. I got him in there too, Nick. He surprisingly has become pretty consistent, and he's on the Seahawks. So number 9, Mason Crosby. Number 8, Ryan Suckup. Number 7, got Robbie Gould back in there. Number 6, Younghoe Koo. Young Ho.
Young Ho.
All right. Number 5, Matt Prater. Number 4, nobody had him on their list. He was, in the top 3, 4 the entire year. Rodrigo Blankenship. Stud.
It's the goggles, bro. I can't. I'm not.
love the
don't,
goggles.
I don't want a kicker who rocks fucking goggles, bro.
How
Take them
else are you
shits
going to see
off,
the
bro.
uprights from 50 yards
Take
away?
them off. No, it makes me nervous. What if they
He
fog
sees
up?
it through.
What if they fog up when he's making a kick?
Well, he'll be in a dome all year.
That's true.
Damn. No love for Rodrigo. 3, Tyler Bass. 2, Harrison. Wow. Harris. That was a great blunder. Harrison Butker, number 2. Number 1, Justin Tucker. Undisputed number 1.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a bounce back year. He was kind of shaky a little bit at points last year.
Yeah, I think he spent a little too much time with the opera. Practicing opera, you know what I mean?
He'll be back. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a beast.
he's so good.
He's got a fucking boot. It's funny, like every time I watch him kick, like he just doesn't miss. It's like automatic, you know? Like if he's lining up to kick, to take a kick, I'm going in the kitchen and go grab a snack. I already know he already made it.
And it was weird though. Like the thing, I think that we all expect the Ravens to bounce back a little bit this year, right? Like as an offense at least. Because the Ravens last year was just a fucked up year. It was, I'm looking here right now, that Justin Tucker finished 8th last year. It was his worst finish since 2015. He had a career low with 29 field goal attempts, and his conversion rate of 89.7 was his lowest since 2015. So the Ravens were just messed up offensively last year. I expect that the opportunities are going to be there. You can always count on him from 50 plus. Wasn't his best year there either. So that's another note I want to say to people out there is while we generally want to target, like you can look at our rankings and we try to target kickers who are on high scoring teams because they get the most opportunities.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But my reasoning for like not having Harrison Butker at number 1, for instance, is
Touchdown.
they are so efficient in the red zone that, like, you never know how it's going to go. Even though they're gonna get on the opposite side of the field more often than not. That kind of hurt him for most of the year last year. I mean, when games got closer, when things tightened up, leading into the playoffs, he was kicking a lot more. So this is another thing where it's like, all right, he was on the waiver wire for weeks last year. I remember seeing him out there. Tyler Bass was a waiver wire pickup for me and carried me for a number of weeks. Like he was getting 15 points. He was hitting 4 field goals a game at a certain point in the season. I think we all had him there, right? We all had him pretty high.
Yeah, I had him at 5. I think they're gonna have a lot of opportunities to score. I think Buffalo's offense is pretty loaded. I mean, you know what I mean? So they're gonna have opportunities. Exactly.
Mike, wow, Pauls didn't have him on his list.
Really?
Wow, that's a surprise.
Sour.
Major.
That's sour, right?
He had
there.
Chris Boswell on his list, which kind of sounds like a vote of confidence for the Steelers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have him anywhere near. He revitalized his career. He looked like he was going to get cut a few years ago. Turned it around. He's been a lot better.
I did notice that none of you guys had Greg the Leg in your top 10. I'm surprised, man. I think the Cowboys are going to have a lot of opportunities to score this year.
If Dak plays.
If Dak plays, yeah, that's true.
If not.
But they're still loaded, though, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if not, you got Ben DiNucci at quarterback.
Or is it Garrett? Could be him. I mean, he's not astronomically better.
Yeah,
but
they're gonna have to make a trade for a backup. Like if they went out and got Nick Foles right now, which they probably should.
No, they should get Mariota.
Oh yeah, that would be fine too. Good fit.
Yeah.
But man, I know why Jerry's not doing it. They want to protect their investment and not cause any Dallas controversy.
Oh yeah, they want to coddle their boy.
They're gonna have 4 wins if they don't do it, and Dak's out. Another thing we'll talk about later. Not to spend too much time on kickers, though. We all had Robbie Gould returning. I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
Because he has the potential to lead the league in fantasy points when this team is dialed in.
Without a doubt.
Definitely getting up there in age. Mason Crosby, same thing. He's on a high-scoring offense. He's getting up there in age, though. Ryan Suckup, definitely up there in age. He doesn't hit for range, but the Bucs definitely gave him plenty of opportunities. They should have had him from week 1 on. I mean, he definitely was a big improvement for them when they signed him. It was 5 weeks into the season? I don't even remember at this point. Right?
Yeah.
And
I wish Polidor was here right now because I want to carve his ass up for Will Lutz.
Yeah, he didn't even realize he's
do.
out right now.
I want
brother.
to carve you up, bro.
He's out.
Pause on that though, on some real shit.
Wow.
Yeah, pause on that. But
Good
like,
for
damn,
you.
dude, Will Lutz is crazy. God, damn, I miss him, bro.
I mean, he's always a top 5 option, but he's literally not going to be playing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many weeks either. But Jason Myers was up there for you and I.
Yeah.
We said he's been consistent ever since joining the Seahawks. He hit all 24 of his field goal attempts last year. So this is a guy who literally was the badge of inconsistency, and he really turned it around.
Yeah.
And that ain't an easy place to kick either. Even when the crowd's quiet, it feels like it's shaking there.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't have the top 2 or 3 kickers, I think you can, stream all year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially like we didn't mention guys like Matt Gay.
He's on a high-scoring offense.
Exactly. He's with the Rams. So, like, I feel like he could be a streaming option.
You got Brandon McManus. I mean, literally, he gets paid like a top 10 kicker. He is usually in the top 10 in fantasy points.
Michael Badgley with the Chargers. I feel like they're going to be a high-scoring offense.
If he keeps his job. I mean, he's worried me. Like, he
True.
should have been a lot better. But McManus, though, is one of the certified best kickers in the game. And if Denver is anything this year, if nothing else, competitive, which we think that they might be, he had 10 50-plus yarders, and he attempted a couple that were from 60. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, if even
that was
though,
an NFL record, 10 50-plus.
Yeah, but even though we didn't mention anybody in our top 10, if we left anybody out, there's still a streaming option.
Yeah.
I would just go for the high-scoring offense, in my opinion, and then take it from there. So, but yeah, if you don't have the top 3 or 4, I'm cool with streaming all year. That's fine with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's not spend another minute on kickers. This actually went a little over time for what we budgeted here, because
Yeah.
we always seem to do that a little bit. We're gonna go into a division preview, and it's actually one that we have briefly touched on, so maybe we don't have to spend as much time on it. It's one that we talked about at various points over the over our off season here.
Yeah.
At P&I. So Phil, hit me with some music, please.
AFC East, baby. Let's go.
AFC East,
Yeah, buddy.
home of Knicks Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels weird saying that because Tom Brady's not there. So should I really even say that?
It's kind of weird. I'm still a Bill Belichick guy. You know what I mean? I still respect them.
I called you out for not being a Belichick guy last week. Just a tad.
I know. It's just his lack of
Just a tiny bit.
offensive weapons for me, but that's all right.
Let's go right
Let's get
into it.
into
Though.
it, yeah.
Like, I mean, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Nice. He nailed it this time. Attaboy, Phil.
Practice it. Shit.
I mean, do we want to just
That ass.
let's just say it? Let's just say it how it is. Let's pick our division winners.
Okay.
If you want to tell me right now, like playoff teams, maybe you could save that for when we go through each team. How about
Okay.
that? But
Yeah, let's do
division
that.
winner, I think it's pretty obvious. It's the Buffalo Bills.
It could be obvious.
You don't think? I mean, do you have the Bills though?
Maybe.
The Bills. Well, I'm asking you for
Maybe.
real. Is this your pick?
They're going to have to find out soon.
Oh, you want to save that for the end?
Oh, yeah.
All right, fine.
Absolutely.
Fine.
You got to keep the suspense. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's hey, Patriots and Dolphins, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go right into the Bills then. How about that? All right. 13 wins last year.
Mhm.
Josh Allen ascended to heights that I don't think anybody saw coming. And they have a lot of guys returning. And, I mean, the biggest storyline of the offseason probably was Josh Allen getting that massive contract. You got questions with the run game, which is still kind of, I mean, they don't generally rely on the run game, but you could tell, like, once it hit playoff time and, those grinded out games leading up to the playoffs, they needed a run game. And they did not get anything from that unit. Zach Mawson, Devin Singletary. The defense, though, I said earlier, they hit their stride late in the year. They got Brian Dable returning, which is huge. I mean, I thought for sure he was getting a head coaching job. I think he's waiting for a big name job to come up.
A perfect opportunity.
So this is probably a team that, assuming all things go right, they could make a Super Bowl run. They're
I
one
agree
of the
with
few
you.
teams, right?
I agree with you. I mean, I definitely think they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Like you said, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, they didn't really have an identity last year, but I just think that they didn't know who they wanted to play. Like, I feel like Zach Moss actually really stepped up when he had the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Devin Singletary for me is just like a middle of the pack back. You know what I mean?
He's better suited to be a third down back.
Yeah, and I actually have Zach Moss as a fantasy sleeper this year.
Me too.
I
I
think he's
had him
gonna
there
be
last
fantastic.
year. I was drafting him thinking he'd take the reins after a few weeks, and they just didn't let him do it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. He had a couple games where he scored 20 points or more.
Because he finally got some goal line opportunities towards the end of the year. Josh Allen kind of takes away from that sometimes. He just bolts his way in, but
I mean, they're loaded on offense, Mike. I mean, they have Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis, Cole Beasley.
P&I sleeper, Gabriel Davis.
Yeah, P&I sleeper and sports sleeper.
Mike's favorite sleeper, Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox.
Come on, man.
I like Dawson Knox though. Like he does score a little bit. He gets open.
Oh man, if they somehow Zach Ertz, I don't know what's going to happen there, but if he gets traded, that's the best fit for him.
Yeah.
That is major if he goes there.
Yeah, I think they're a top 3 team in the AFC though.
Yeah.
Overall.
I mean, I guess obviously when we touch on the playoff picture episode, we can talk about how far they'll go, but definitely you could see a path to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, between the Chiefs, the Browns, possibly Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Steelers though. Shout out Broads. But
Wow.
I'm be honest with you, man. I know like it might seem like it's over, but last year they were 12-4. So
You saved that because remember, we're going to talk about them.
yeah, we'll talk about them.
That's in 2 weeks, guys.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just making my case for it being in the top 3.
But I hear you, though.
know what I
There's been
mean?
actually some pretty positive Steelers buzz.
Oh yeah.
So, and they did go 12-4 last year. So you got Diggs, obvious top 3 to 5 option in PPR.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Yeah.
He showed you that.
Mm-hmm.
Sanders, though, might be an interesting flyer in the not the mid rounds, but late rounds, PPR leagues only.
He's a
Kind
flex
of
option.
interests me because I could see him having 70 catches. Anywhere between like this is the thing. Everything behind Diggs, they got a lot. So I don't know if he'll be enough to be relevant. But he's a guy I would look at for streamers if he doesn't get drafted. But I could see anywhere between 700-800 yards, 70 catches, and 5 touchdowns.
See, I think
Still
he'll get
something.
drafted. I
He's
think
a-
he'll get drafted later in the draft. But
Yeah.
I think he's a flex option.
Could wind
honestly.
up being a wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I agree
Gabriel
with you on that.
Davis, though, could be like that guy. That's going to be your Mr. Streamer Deluxe there.
That's
where
my
you
guy.
want a boom or bust option where, you trust that he'll get that bomb in that game
Yeah.
against a shit secondary.
He's capable too. But like we saw last year, he had 7 touchdowns in a short stint.
Yeah.
So I'm
Could
pretty
be bombs away.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs is actually talking him up. He wants him to improve his game because he actually sees potential in him.
And
So that's something to look out
less
for.
coverage there. And now he's their 3rd, even 4th receiver because you got Beasley in the slot, and he has PPR value. He catches a ton of passes.
Oh yeah, and especially with leagues that have they get like a half point for a first down reception. So I think Beasley does have a lot of value in those.
He's a
kind of
chain
leagues.
mover.
Absolutely.
And he's also going to be freed up in that slot. They got a lot of weapons, but it would do them so well if they could run the football effectively this year. They are not going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon if they can't run the football a lick.
Yeah, no, I
They
agree.
can't.
I think Zach Moss is going to take over at some point in the year.
They got to give him a chance to
They
do
have to. They have to.
it. I mean, it didn't work last year. Just
Nah.
try something different. Singletary's best served being in that 3rd down role because he still has some explosiveness to him and can catch a football out of the backfield. So, it seems obvious.
No, I agree with you.
I'm surprised they didn't
100%.
figure that out. So we're not even going to spend that much time. We just talked about the Bills' defense. So let's move on to the Patriots. Fascinating situation here because, like I said earlier, they got a number of COVID opt-outs coming back. You got the QB battle, which we'll definitely touch on in a sec. They went on a free agency frenzy. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar. A number of pieces on defense. I'm not even looking at the list because they made so many moves. They drafted Ramondre Stevenson. They have James White returning. They still have Sony Michel. He's not been traded. You got Jacoby Myers, who kind of ascended a little bit. And you have Damian Harris, I'll touch on that in a second.
Sleeper.
I mean, man,
Certified sleeper.
I really like
Damian
it.
Harris. Look out.
everyone that was in the
Trust me.
league with me last year knows that I was pounding the table for him. And once they actually let him play, once they let him take over the lead dog,
He's a fucking beast.
he was awesome last year, but he does not catch enough passes. So, like, that's something to look out for. Because, like, honestly, if he caught, like, 40 passes, let's say, instead of 20, he's got major sleeper potential, like top 15 kind of potential.
No, I agree with
As a runner,
you. 100%.
he's a bowling ball.
Oh, I know.
Little short guy, but he's deceptively quick, too.
Absolutely.
And this
He's
is a
got
team
moves.
that should lean on the run. Like, even though the Patriots like to have a rotation there, they weren't like that last year.
No,
They let him take over that gig, and he literally single-handedly carried them.
I agree.
Especially when Cam Newton struggled. That's another thing to talk about. But one other thing, though, like the Stephon Gilmore situation's interesting because he still very well may be the best corner in the league. So is this team possibly a playoff team? We could break it down like this. Are they a playoff team if Cam starts all year? Are they a playoff team if it's Mac Jones? And who's going to win the job? That's the question.
I think they're a playoff team with either quarterback.
Really?
I do because I think Bill Belichick is going to be out for revenge this year. I think they added a lot of talent, on the offensive side of the ball too. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. They traded for Trent Brown.
Trent Brown was a massive pickup.
Right? They signed Hunter Henry, and they also signed Jonnu Smith on the offensive side of the ball. So they have a lot of pieces this time, and I feel like they're going to go back to the play action days, Brady's earlier days, where they run the football and then they hit you with the play action with two tight ends. I think that's going to be really effective. They got speedy wide receivers this time. I think their defense is going to be legit. They might have the best cornerback tandem in the game with J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore. I mean, Gilmore 2 years ago was Defensive Player of the Year.
He's amazing.
And J.C. Jackson, he's ascending. We spoke about it earlier. They brought back Kyle Van Noy. They signed Matthew Judon, and they also brought back Lawrence Guy.
And you got Dante Hightower.
He's awesome for them. Yeah, Dante
probably
Hightower.
their best defensive player.
So, I
besides
feel
Gilmore.
they lost Jason McCourty, but I don't think that's really much of a loss. You know what I
Not
mean?
much.
They still have Devin McCourty. He's much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, for me, I think their defense is going to be outstanding this year. It just reminds me of the old Patriot days. Honestly, I feel like they're going to be very tough to beat.
Grinded out competitive
Grind
team.
it out, yeah.
With
And they
great
have the
coaching,
best coach.
with great coaching on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely.
Because if anyone's going to get the most out of this quarterback situation, it might be Josh McDaniels in a Patriots uniform,
Yes.
of course.
And I think Cam's going to win the job in the beginning. I do because I feel like I spoke about this last episode or 2 episodes ago, that if Mac Jones goes in there and he fails, then it's like, what do you do? Like, do you bring Cam in and then, see what he does? And then what are you going to do? Just bring back Mac Jones? I feel like it's going to hurt his confidence. So I think
it could go a number of ways there, but that's the reason you would have Cam in the background, But
yeah, but I also feel like that's why he's there, because I think he's going to start, and then they're going to see where he goes.
we're seeing some comments
I really
saying
do.
Cam sucks.
Cam,
Well, listen,
I agree. I'm not a big Cam guy.
Second year in this system, he should be better than last year. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
And he has had a pretty good preseason, but so is Mac Jones.
Oh, he's awesome.
And I'm gonna say, I think what impressed me is,
His poise.
obviously, he's poised.
Mm-hmm.
But what impressed me the most, I was just at the preseason game last week where they just took a dump on the Eagles. I think I was most impressed with his pocket presence, escapability wise, especially. He was moving up and around in the pocket and making some good throws. He made a one great throw down the field that N'Keal Harry he's just trash. They need to cut him.
I don't know what the.
I mean, he fucked up his shoulder or something on that play.
It was right there on the money.
It was
too.
a perfect throw, and he avoided the blitz. There were a number of plays like that. I mean, I get it. It was not against the first stringers, but we've seen a lot of promising signs there. So if they deem him ready, I'm okay with it, because I'd like to see what their unit's going to be like at their top upside. He might struggle a little bit, and he probably will when he does come in, whenever it is. But I can definitely see Cam, starting the first few games just as the veteran presence, and he's got the respect of the locker room. Don't be surprised, though, if Mac Jones starts. That's a situation where I could see him starting. Because I don't think they're a team that's risk averse. I think that they're very much willing to throw him into the fire, and they believe that they have the pieces around him to do it.
I agree. And you know what's a thing to keep an eye out for? I know we spoke about Michael Thomas about a couple episodes ago. It would be really intriguing if the Patriots actually made a move for him. They're out of the conference.
Uh-huh.
They need a wide receiver with N'Keal Harry hurt. You never know. You never know.
Which player did you just say?
Michael Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a perfect fit.
Absolutely. Slam
and
boy
they
Thomas.
still have some cap remaining, I believe. I mean, they went crazy spending. I was reading a comment. When I left, I was reading a comment saying, it's preseason, dude. Chill. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, simmer down over there. Was that John Pasillo?
Yeah.
Yo,
That's my guy.
Yo, tell him to chill out over there. I'm Mr. I don't give a fuck about preseason.
Oh, I don't either.
I put that on the record. But I'm just going to say, though, his pocket presence was impressive.
It was.
Because that's a thing where he's not expected to be moving around so fluidly in the pocket.
He should have
he's a guy that everyone thinks of as a statue.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
Let's not take this out of context here.
No, I agree.
All right. So simmer down over there. Silo family, man. They're always bringing the fire every episode, though. I love it. I love it.
They're representing.
I love it.
I appreciate it.
I love it. Okay? Keep it coming. I'm not taking offense. By the way,
I think the Patriots had an A+ offseason, honestly.
The logic behind this free agency spending is because they got a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract for the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
He's still going at me. Oh, man. Anyway, Mike Polidor, our own, he says that the Patriots should win 10, 11 games and they're a fringe playoff team. They should start Mac right away. Let him get going. Cam doesn't have it anymore. I kind of feel the same, though. But I could see them starting him for a couple games right out the gates, just to,
Yeah, Cam's going to be a starter.
But I don't know.
I believe that.
I don't know. I think it's a toss-up right now. So that's what Paul says. He does not have them making the playoffs, but he says they're fringe. All right? Next team. So we have the Miami Dolphins, and this is an interesting case. We kind of touched on them already in previous episodes. Tua situation, definitely got to monitor that. Can the defense be as good as last year? We just talked about that. I don't think we got to go over it again. They drafted Jalen Waddle, surprisingly over Devontae Smith. A lot of people predicted that, though. They signed Will Fuller, who I would love the signing if Tua could throw downfield. I would love it. They got all these burners.
Yeah.
And Devontae Parker's a guy who can play, go up and make that contested catch downfield. Deceptive speed there, too. It doesn't make any sense to me. It don't make any sense. It's just weird. Tua was a bad pick. Anyway.
So you're off him, completely off him. Like, you're not going to give him a shot at all.
I'll give him a shot, but I don't believe in him enough. And I'm not going to rule out his upside, because there were a couple games last year where he really did flash.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't do it for me. And I know how Pauls feels, too. He does not like them. He has the Dolphins missing the playoffs. You got Preston Williams coming back, who was like a nice, underrated receiver. And then you got Mike Gesicki, who should be ascending. He's not used enough. So you got to wonder if the offensive line's good enough. Don't know that. Can Myles Gaskin repeat what he did last year? I think he's underrated, but they did bring in Malcolm Brown, so we don't know how this running back rotation is going to sort itself out. I think that Gaskin's probably a value pick at this point because he's going to slip in the draft and still might return, 1,200 total yards. I could see that, even if he is splitting time.
Yeah, I'm off him, man, because I read a report that Brian Flores wants to do a 3 running back system, running back by committee. That scares me
That's
for
what they were
fantasy.
saying last year, and then they didn't even let Jordan Howard carry the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, not for nothing. I thought Jordan Howard was pretty washed last year. So, I mean, take it, for what it is.
Yeah.
But, no, Gaskin shined last year. But if they're going to, start with running back by committee, that scares me as a fantasy owner.
It would be an extreme, let's see where he falls in the draft for me. I would want him as a backup. I would not want him as a starter on my team. But Malcolm Brown should definitely be the goal line back. And also, I don't think Myles Gaskin is built the way that he should be to be able to be a full-time back anyway. So it might benefit them both. And Malcolm Brown can play a little bit too.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I got the Dolphins. I mean, look, dude, they're fucking loaded. Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Albert Wilson, and Jalen Waddle, and that kid Grant. Like, he could play, man. You know? And then they got Gaskin and Malcolm Brown, like you said. Gesicki's ascending player. They have a good team. It really boils down to Tua's progression. If he could be the top pick that they picked him to be, look out.
Even if he could just be a game manager at
they
this
got
point.
Speed.
If he can be slightly better than game manager quality, they'll be a playoff team.
And their defense is good too.
He was mediocre in majority of his starts last year.
Yeah.
The team was 6-2 at Ryan Fitzmagic, and they give the job away randomly in the middle of a playoff run.
They were 6-2.
They would have been. They literally missed the playoffs by a tiebreaker. That was one of the worst coaching decisions I've ever seen, and I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Brian Flores.
Me too. I don't understand that decision.
This franchise as a whole literally has done such a great job rebuilding, and the Tua thing just sent me for a loop. It's just like, man, like, we'll see. Like, I'm giving him a chance. I'm not gonna rule it out. I will give him a chance
to succeed because I think he does have some skill. They wouldn't have drafted him top, player in the draft if fucking he couldn't play.
Look, here's what he's got going for him.
That's just the bottom line.
Here's what he's got going for him. He's got all those weapons.
Yeah.
And they're amazing, right? He's got the help of the defense, and there we go. One sec. He's got the defense. He's got all those weapons, and he's an accurate thrower, but he seems to lack in decision making.
Agreed.
So, and he can move a little bit, but I don't want to move him too much because I don't want him getting fucked up. Period. Facts.
Gonna get slapped around, huh?
So, I mean, if they had Justin Herbert, this team is scary.
Oh, I know.
I
don't think they're making the playoffs. I'll just be blunt. I'll call a spade a spade. But again, I mean, they had the talent to actually really make some fucking noise. You know what I mean?
That's going to be the missing piece.
It really boils down to his progression. And last year they went 10-6 still, but like we alluded to, they were 6-2 with Fitzmagic.
And they could have made the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They finished 500. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
So another thing I'll say, this is just, I mean, it's not totally relevant, but they were a team that was pushing for Deshaun Watson before his case just went out of control.
Yeah.
And if he ever plays a lick of football again, they would be a team to monitor there. They wanted Deshaun Watson, and that was actually a good situation. And Tua would have been a Texan almost assuredly if that were to happen. So
they would have robbed
Let's
him.
not speculate too much there. Yeah, that would have been an amazing fit.
Yeah.
Well, hey, stay out of trouble.
Let's move on to E's team.
The New York Jets.
Jets. Jets.
He's got something to be proud of.
Fucking garbage.
Listen, he's got something to be proud of.
Booty meat. That's what they are. Booty meat.
You really think so?
Straight up.
I mean, you don't think they're going to be competitive this year? Listen, they went 2-14 last year.
Family.
There's a question. Look, this is a good question to start. Your pop says, what do you think about Zach Wilson? We're going to touch on that in a second, okay? I just want to point out one thing before all the mess last year. It was a mess. Adam Gase should have been fired. They were 8-8 the year before. They were a competitive team, and they lose a lot of close games. So I'm not saying like, oh, hey, expect the Jets to be a playoff team. No, I think that they're going to be well coached. They're going to kind of take that like Dolphins curve where they take it up a notch. They'll be like, I don't know, a competitive 6-7 win team this year, I think. And that might be ambitious, but this is all depending on Zach Wilson. So that's the first storyline. You got Robert Saleh, new head coach. You got Zach Wilson. Is he going to start right away? Is he going to be good? There were reports saying like Mekhi Becton, who looked awesome at left tackle, and I told this to E. I was like, man, you finally got some offensive line help. They draft Tucker from USC at left guard. That was a great pick. They've been hitting in the draft. They've been nailing the draft. You expect the defense to improve, right? So they did lose Carl Lawson for the year, though. That's a big loss. Mm-hmm. So, and we don't know who's going to start at running back. Maybe it's Michael Carter, the rookie. They got Tevin Coleman. So,
Michael P. Ryan.
Jesus Christ.
Trash. He fucking booty, guys.
One thing, though. First observation.
He's not even draftable.
I don't even want to talk about him.
I don't either. We could just fucking...
But they got
Let it
some
go.
skill. They got some skill talent though. They got Corey Davis, who has been targeted. I think 78% target share in preseason. He's going to be heavily involved, and he had a great year last year with the Titans. He's their undisputed #1 receiver. You got Jamison Crowder, who's always, possible use in PPR leagues.
He's very good.
Yeah,
He's
he
very
catches
good.
passes.
Yeah.
So
No, I like their wide receiver.
and you got Elijah Moore, who's rookie of the year potential.
yeah.
He's a stud.
I like their wide receivers. I think Zach Wilson would be okay. I think he's going to have some growing pains.
I think so too. But
He's
I actually
on the Jets.
this is a guy where
They find a way to be fucking trash.
man, it's
They do.
finally some like
They haven't been good since Rex Ryan was
I
left.
know, but this is the first time where you actually feel pretty confident about what the franchise has been doing as a whole. The front office under Joe Douglas has done a lot better, and Robert Saleh is a model of consistency. I mean, look at what he did with that 49ers unit. He gets the most out of them. I think he's a hell of a leader. Like, I love the hire. So they got the pieces. I think Zach Wilson actually might be pretty decent. He'll have his growing pains.
He's got a great arm.
This is a guy I
Mike.
would say also, like, keep an eye on his cards because most people are going to be like, oh, the Jets suck. Like, there's no way this kid's going to be good. He's not even 6 foot. Like, all that shit. Like, oh, it's the Jets.
Yeah.
That might be why he's a sleeper buy on the card market. And we'll probably touch on that eventually.
He could. I actually think Elijah Moore could be.
Yeah, him too.
More than anything. I
Him
think
too.
he's super talented. He might be the best wide receiver in the draft.
He's so talented.
No cap.
Tiny guy, but he knows how to get open. He knows how to catch the ball, and he's gonna get the opportunity. That's the #1 thing in fantasy: the opportunity. So keep an eye. Like
It's
that.
the run game for me, man.
Yeah, the
don't
run
have
game-
a certified running back on that team.
The run game.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna
Michael
hurt Zach
Carter
Wilson
could be
because
good.
because everything's gonna be on Zach Wilson.
There's a lot of buzz on Michael Carter right now. The key thing for me is the offensive line. If the offensive line can hold up, they might be half decent. But the right side of the line concerns me a lot. And if Mekhi Becton, I mean, he apparently has had struggles at camp. And I thought he was a stud, by the way. I thought he had an excellent rookie year. That's going to be
They
what
were
it comes
calling for
down
him to be like in the Hall of Fame
Jesus
after
Christ.
last year.
Well, shit. I mean,
No, seriously. I'm not even fucking around. I saw multiple players say this. They actually really believe in him long term.
he's a stud.
He's a beast. No, I get that.
I'm sure they'll get this all sorted out. If he was out of shape or whatever, then that's one thing. But I heard it was just like outright not playing well in camp. Could be something to monitor. They also brought in Keelan Cole from the Jags, and they still have Denzel Mims, who I like a lot, and I actually don't know if he's going to be on the team. It's a little weird situation there. Like, man, I would love for the Eagles to trade for him. I wanted them to draft him. Really weird situation. They still got Chris Herndon at tight end, who you could keep an eye on. Honestly, he could be either a glorified streamer or he could be one of those guys that winds up in the top 10 conversation on the back end. But it all depends on Zach Wilson and how the offense develops. That's the story of this team.
I have so many Denzel Mims cards that like if he's like a Jerry Rice, I'm gonna have Ward Cameron money. On some head ass shit. Like I'm gonna be fucking loaded. I'm gonna be sitting on a yacht if he could be a Jerry Rice. I have so many of his cards. That's because he was just like one of those rookies that everybody pulls. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. We'll see how it goes with him.
But they're definitely not a
hopefully he
playoff
makes
team. We can at least say that.
No.
So, division pick. Who you got? I got the Bills. Easy pick for me.
I got the Bills too. I got the Bills being 12-5. I got New England being 7th seed at
Nice.
10-7. I
So
do.
you're the only one among the three of us that has them making the playoffs. I don't have them making the playoffs, but they're going to be close.
It's the head coach for me, man.
I just don't know.
I just have a hard time believing Bill Belichick is going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. I just have a hard time. Like I just don't see that. I see the Dolphins being 8-9, and the Jets 5-12. They're fucking booty meat. Like let's just call a spade a spade. They're not that good. 5-12. Bottom line.
I mean, here's why the Pats don't get in for me. Because I have the Chargers getting in. I got the Chargers. I got an AFC South wild card, and I'm not gonna say which team because we're touching on that division later in the week. So I got an AFC South wild card. I got the Chargers, and I got an AFC North wild card. That's 3 wild cards right there. I'm not going to say which because we're going to talk about them too. All right. So, Paul's same thing. He says, not really a competition. He's got the Bills.
Not really a competition.
He says the Pats
What a
will win at
jab.
10, 11 games though. So he
What
did
a
say
jab.
that. What he said. I mean, no competition there, and I kind of agree with him. I think the Bills are a landslide division winner. But the division, they could lose. They're not going to sweep the division. Let's just put it that way. They could lose. They could split a couple of those series. Who knows?
No, I think the Patriots are going to be very competitive.
They'll probably
this year.
lose one of those games to the Pats. We'll see.
They will.
So that's it, though, for the AFC East preview. All right, we got to move on.
Before we move on, everybody who's watching, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, give us a follow on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We would greatly appreciate it. And we'll move on to sports cards, Mike.
Yeah, we got some sport. We got one thing we're gonna mention, and we got a lot coming later in the week. So, but this is a breaking announcement. Phil, you might want to sound the alarm here. This is kind of crazy. So here's what happened. After a 70-year partnership with Major League Baseball moves on from Topps. And they sign a deal with Fanatics, which is run. Their owner is Michael Rubin, who's one of the part owners of the Sixers. Okay? The Fanatics, whatever. Fanatics cemented a deal with MLB and the MLBPA for the exclusive license to produce baseball cards. 70 years they were with Topps. Topps literally only has soccer now, I think. They have soccer and something else. I freaking forget, but it's insignificant to me. It's crazy. I have so
sad.
many Topps cards. Oh, my God. But anyway, details of this deal. This is kind of like a little rapid reaction here. Right? Fanatics' deal with MLB and MLBPA is more than 10 times larger than any that the union has ever agreed to. The memo also states that the deal, when combined with other recent deals, is expected to generate roughly $2 billion by 2045. In 24 years, they will generate $2 billion in cards.
That's insane. No,
What does
hold
that
on.
say to you?
Well,
You, Mr. Card Guy over there,
here's
what
the
does that
thing.
say?
Here's the thing. The only thing that I could think of would be, how is Fanatics going to produce these cards? They gotta buy out Topps. They have to. They need the machinery to produce these cards. So they're gonna have to buy out Topps.
I wouldn't put nothing
Completely.
past that group over there. They're very creative thinkers. I don't know how they're going to do it, but to get this deal, I mean, first of all, when you talk about $2 billion projected in revenue, the alarm, sound it again for me, Phil. I need you to sound this for everybody. $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Card enthusiasts. What does that mean?
But
Cards make money.
absolutely. But you know what I
Holy
think too?
shit.
Like my prediction too is that like I feel like NFTs are gonna come and play because I feel like Fanatics is very in tune with the modern world.
Definitely.
I know Brady signed a deal with Fanatics in the offseason.
They had
with
Brady
autographs.
NFTs dropping on
Remember- yeah,
DraftKings.
absolutely.
And I was actually trying to get one, and I missed out.
So I wonder if NFTs are going to be part of the plan because I'll say this because Topps didn't even have a chance to counteroffer
Crazy.
with baseball after
Oh,
70 years.
I thought that they gave them the ability to match, but
no,
they just knew
didn't.
they couldn't.
They didn't. They actually announced the deal, and Topps was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, we
'cause
couldn't counteroffer."
I read that they had the ability to match, and they just did not have the money. I
No.
could believe it though. Honestly, how do you pass that deal? You know,
they weren't given an opportunity to match, which I was shocked about. I mean, after 70 years of producing baseball cards, they're not able to match.
absolutely.
So I feel like it's a technology thing in advancement for me. I think Fanatics has a plan in the future to make a lot of money. And I think they sold the MLB and the MLBPA, their plan.
they got the group to do it. Michael Rubin is a creative thinker.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got the money. So
I was getting a lot of questions too if old Topps baseball cards would be,
maybe
a
that they'll
good
be
hold.
right. Scarcity
Yeah, like
going forward.
I feel like in 5 and 10 years, like I feel like Topps will be like a nostalgia thing.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? I think now, the deal's not into effect until 2025, right? Or
Right.
2026
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. So I think like maybe like 5, 10 years, I think, that would be, nostalgia for a lot of collectors. And
Got those cards that have like the bubble gum sticks in it and shit.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna tell me that's not gonna be worth something?
it has to. I mean, they're not gonna make them anymore. You know.
Unbelievable.
So I mean, that is something to look out for. I definitely think the old Topps baseball cards will definitely be. I think they're gonna go bananas in 10 years. I really do.
I hope that everybody listened to this particular thing. I like
Because like, to me, like Topps is like forever a baseball brand. Like when you talk about
Yeah,
baseball
me-
cards, you think Topps.
most of my baseball cards are probably Topps cards.
They all are probably.
I mean, I'm just telling you
An
right
upper
now.
deck.
The reason why I had to sound the alarm twice is one, the money involved in the card market, and then two, the point you just made about Topps cards maybe being scarce. I mean, you gotta think that they'll have some sort of worth. They're gonna be absolutely nostalgic.
Yeah,
they're
and
already nostalgic for me.
And I also think too, like, I mean, Fanatics could really fuck it up too. They could like water down a lot of products. You know what I mean? Like if there's too much of the print run on these products, I could see it going down, with Fanatics. You know, I mean, because they're trying to make money. We're talking billions, right? Like that's the projection. So like they might water down these products and then they might not be worth as much because again, scarcity. It's going to matter in the end. So I mean, that's my take on it for now. I'm sure like a lot more details are going to come out.
Yeah,
about this.
We'll be
in the
sure to
next
cover it here.
Couple weeks or days, months, who knows, years. We don't know. So
We'll be on top of it. But hey,
Absolutely.
Nick, before we move on, because we're going to really speed it up. I'm basically going to announce news. We're not
Okay.
going to have too much input going forward. We just want to make sure we have the news out there for
Sure.
everybody that might have missed it over the weekend and while they're at work. But listen, I want you to give us a couple of announcements regarding the shows that we keep talking about here.
yeah.
Take it away real quick, and then we'll move on to the quick hitters.
Yeah, I know last week I told you guys that the Wildwood Sports Card Show was going to be on August 20th to 22nd. That wasn't the case. They actually moved it. They have another event that weekend. But now, this weekend, P and I will be there. We will be filming some sports cards content for you guys on Friday, 3 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will be there on Saturday, so if you guys are going to be there, shoot us a DM, and we'd love to meet up with you. There's another sports card show at the Valley Forge Casino Resort. You're able to purchase your tickets on their website now. It is from September 24th through September 26th. A lot of Eagles players will be there. Former Eagles, that is. McNabb, Vic, Jaworski, former Flyers, former Phillies. So, be sure to check it out on their website and just let us know if you guys are, going to make an appearance. We'll be there. Definitely.
P and I will be there.
Absolutely. We're going to be filming mad content for you guys. So I'm
Looking
excited
forward
about
to
it.
it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, the first show. So, yeah, I'm excited to give the fans what they want.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you buy.
Yeah, we're going to
I
cook
can't
up
wait to
some.
see what you buy and even sell,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Or even just some card input.
I'm buying. I'm in the buyer's market right now.
Yeah.
I see a lot of potential. So I'm just kind of hoping I can get the right deals.
I know you'll be able to find something because you got the eye for it.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah, I got you.
Damn, that was
It's
really
MP
nice of you.
Sports right here. MP Sports. Listen, this is the face of the card market, guys. You better listen. All right.
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
So, just to be clear, though, to finish this show, we got the quick hitter segment, and I'm gonna go rapid fire here. And you might get sick of my voice, but it's only gonna be for a couple minutes. So,
Run it.
Nick, you could chime in
Yeah.
if you want, but we're really trying to just speed this up. All right, Phil, I want some bang bang.
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the...
First news. NBA, LeBron gets 0 votes for NBA's best player. I know Mike is stewing over that. I know it. So Nick and I are just sitting here laughing. Like, nah, he probably didn't deserve any votes for that. But, right?
I mean, he definitely deserves some votes. Like,
Mike says,
LeBron is like,
maybe a few votes, right?
yeah. I
Not
mean,
zero.
to get 0 is total disrespect.
You don't want to know why I'm annoyed?
Total disrespect. But I'm cool with it though. Fuck LeBron.
Yeah, you
you know
wanna
what I
know- you
mean?
wanna
Like,
know.
I don't give a fuck.
Mike says energy must come next week with this.
Oh, it
Hey, I'm
will.
sorry, Mike.
We're waiting for you, man. We
I
missed
think
you.
Mike dodged us so he didn't have to talk about this.
Probably. You're probably right. That's a good observation. He don't want no smoke.
But for real, like, the only thing that annoys me before we move on, I just think that him bitching about it on social media is just like, I don't need to hear you say that. Just show us you're the best.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm salty ass LeBron. I hate when he does that shit.
Yeah, but it's
I
funny
love LeBron
because
too.
if he's the best player, why the fuck do you need Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony? Like, why do you need all these superstars, bro? If you're the best, just fucking just do it on your own, man.
Preach.
Fuck them, dude. You know what I mean? If you're actually that dude, then fucking show up.
On to the NFL though.
These super team bullshit.
Yeah, I know, right? On to the NFL though. What we were waiting for was Carson Wentz returns to practice for the Colts, and he practiced in full. Quentin Nelson practiced. Ryan Kelly, one of the most underrated centers, practiced. They all returned. Good news for the Eagles' first-round pick.
Yep.
Next piece of news. And we'll talk about the Colts later this week, all right? NBA, Terry Rozier. 4 years, $97 million extension with the Hornets. Holy shit.
Overpaid.
That's a bag.
Over fucking paid.
That's what I'm thinking
God
too, right?
damn.
He got more than Lonzo.
I know.
Man, Mike, Lonzo Paul's over there is stewing over that too, I'm sure. He did get overpaid.
Oh,
and
man.
Lonzo is worth more, in my opinion. There you go, Mike. That's for you, buddy.
I agree with that too.
That's for you, buddy. MLB. Miggy. 500 home run club. He's the 28th member to join that club. All right?
That was awesome.
Home run against the Blue Jays. Awesome. Surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. He has a .311 career average. I'm pretty
No
sure.
doubt about it.
Fucking fantastic. Congrats to him. You can hit that clap button, Phil. Go ahead.
Yeah, clap the cheek.
Oh, man, that's major. That sounds painful.
That does.
But
Sound like a spanking.
another quick note. The Eagles took a spanking here. Andre Dillard, who is back at practice now. Quite a few teams are interested in trading for him. Keep an eye on that. First round bust so far. That is a spanking. We'll see what they can get in return. Probably a late round pick.
Bag
right.
of chips.
He should be a Steeler, honestly. That would be a good fit for him. They need some help. And I can see him revitalizing his career there. Anyway. NHL. The King Hank. Henrik Lundqvist retires after 15 years. He was the Vezina winner in 2011-2012. 5 All-Star games. He was diagnosed with a heart condition after signing a 1-year deal with the Caps. It would have been his first year away from New York.
Yeah, that's
so
sad, man.
Things happen for a reason, though.
Yeah.
Because now he'll be alive and well, and he seems to be in good spirits. He had a phenomenal career. I hated facing him as a Flyers fan.
I was going to say that.
Respect, though, as a person
And a competitor.
and a competitor.
Absolutely.
Got to be a Hall of Famer, too.
Oh, yeah.
Clap for him. Go ahead, Phil.
Another spanking right there.
Poor Rangers. They're taking a spanking.
Let's slap it up in rhythm.
But more NHL news. Look at that. Some hockey. Flyers, finally, they get the deal done with Travis Sanheim, restricted free agent. The defensive end, the back end is looking pretty damn good. The top 4 is solidified. He gets 2 years with $9.35 million. That's $4.6 per year. He avoids arbitration. So the Flyers are ready to go. But this also, I want to tell the audience this, puts them at negative $644K in cap space. So they're going to have to make another move. So keep an eye, everybody.
Possible trade?
It could be something big because you know that they want some wiggle room with the salary cap in case they got to sign some guys during the season, bring guys up and down. Keep an eye on that.
I agree with you.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Finally,
Good move,
to end the show. I love it. I'm happy for him. It's another bridge contract. To end the show, we're not going to go deep into this, but I just want to stir it up a little bit, okay? Couple of Dak headlines. He likely won't play at all this preseason. Okay, we can get over that. He started throwing again gradually, not fully though. I think he had 52 warm-up throws the other day, right? Jesus, we're looking at some of these comments.
Whacking his bag again is fucking crazy. Shout out to my dad.
Damn.
He is really psychotic and fucking iconic. I love that guy.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Whacking his bag is crazy.
We got to stay on schedule. We got less than a minute here, all right? This is what we're going to do.
Oh, man.
So the Schefter headline that we're going to leave it with the audience here. Dak is not fully back. He may not be fully back all season long. Sounds like he's going to be playing hurt. Look out. And I'm telling this to Pauls. I hope you're listening still.
I mean, you should be
Look
telling
out.
it to me, too, because I had him in top 5 quarterback.
Hey,
in
I didn't have him in my
fantasy, so-
top 10. All right. I was thinking about it up here. I mean, listen.
It's
this
all
team,
speculation,
This team is royally fucked. If he misses any time, royally fucked.
I
That
agree with
defense, even with the Micah Parsons pick, is still going to be bottom 5, bottom 10. I mean, they're just not. They're never going to stay healthy. There's no way. So I wanted to end the show on that. Throw some shade to the Cowboys, and I hope that he is. Honestly, I hope he's healthy because I would love to rub it in and beat them anyway. I don't think they're winning the division.
Yeah, you don't want any excuses, do you?
Dak Prescott. That's a great way to end the show. Dak Prescott says, "Pops." Thanks, Pops. I love it. I love it. Keep that energy.
Whacking his bag.
Nick, take it away.
That might be the title of this episode. Whacking his bag.
Oh, and by the way, guys, so we're not going to have another live stream this week because Pauls won't be here. And he won't be here for the next episode. It's still going to be released on our usual Friday, 7 o'clock a.m. And it should be a good one. We're going to cover some more fantasy football. We're not touching on fantasy this show.
No,
it's a double division preview. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because when Pauls comes back, we want to do running
We
backs.
need him here.
Yeah, he needs to be here for that. We're doing
has to.
top 10 running backs, I believe, and top 10 receivers next week. Stay tuned for that. But later this week, double division preview. It's going to be the AFC South and the NFC South. And then we got some card subjects that we already have eyed up. So double division preview. That's our show for tonight, though. Thanks for tuning in. And, look out for us again on Friday. Look out for Paul's next week. And Nick, take it away.
Guys, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the comments, the love, and support. These live streams are fucking phenomenal. We really enjoy this with you guys. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and we'll see you guys Friday at P&I.